Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know I look a little crazy right now because I just have my bold ass brows on with no other makeup, so I apologize. But this tutorial is just based on the brows, so I just kind of wanted to focus on them and get a tutorial up so you guys know how I do my brows personally. And I'm going to explain all the products that I use and the steps that I do to ensure that my brows look as bold and filled in as they do. I know you guys are probably thinking, wow, this girl is so high maintenance, she has to have a whole separate video for her brows. She must have a really long, tedious routine. No, actually. My routine is actually really simple. I only use a few products, and I'm going to show you how I do that today. But what really takes me the longest is fiddling back and forth with my eyebrows, because a lot of people say that eyebrows are sisters and not twins, but actually my eyebrows are distant cousins when there's no product on them. They're really difficult to fill in for me, and it just takes a long time, so I just thought it would be a lot easier if I just had a separate video completely dedicated to how I do my eyebrows. So without further ado, let's just hop right in and get started. So first I'm going to pick up my Anastasia Beverly Hills number 12 brush. I've had this forever and so long that the number has actually rubbed off of it. But I promise it's a number 12 brush. Mine's kind of dirty. I definitely need a new one. I've tried to clean it several times and at this point it's just kind of stained. So we're just going to deal with it. But it is honestly the best brush that I have found for doing brows. It has this little actual end that you can draw on brow hairs with and apply the product. And it has a spoolie end, which is really nice to brush it out and make things look a lot more natural. Again, I apologize, it's a little dirty, but you know, I use it every day. So the first thing I do before I do my brows is I kind of just brush them out into the shape that I want. My brows are naturally like really arched up, which I don't like. I actually waxed my brows last night using these wax strips right here. I'll have them up on the screen right now so you guys can see. I just kind of do them myself because I don't trust other people with my brows. I've heard so many horror stories about people getting their brows done by other people and it not working out too well, so I just trust myself. But anyways, I kind of just brush them out into the shape that I want, just like a basic arch shape. My brows are really thin. I've been trying to grow them out. So this is just kind of what they look like with no product, all brushed into the shape that I want. If you have any tips for brow growth, I would greatly appreciate if you would leave them down below. So the most important product that I use for my brows is my Anastasia Dip Brow. It's in the shade Blonde, and I have used this for years. It's honestly one of my favorite brow products. It's really pigmented, it stays in place, it's waterproof, which you know, is always good. The first thing I really do is make sure that all of the hairs on my brush are flat, because you see when you turn it to the side, it's super thin and it's going to give you that precise line shape that we want when we're filling in our brows. We don't want a chunky brow. We want nice thin strokes when we're doing our brow. We want it to look as natural as possible. This stuff is really powerful, so if you put a lot of this on your brush, you're going to end up with a big mess. So you want to use a little bit at a time with this dip brow. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I don't know if you can see, I'm just going to take a little bit to start with, just get a little bit on my brush, and then I'm going to be sure that all my brow hairs are brushed, which they are. I'm going to start tracing out the bottom arch of my eyebrow, like so, just so I know kind of where everything's gonna be. I'm starting here and dragging the product on and then taking what's left and kind of putting it towards the front, because we don't want them to be dark in the front to give us that Sharpie brow effect. We want them to be a little bit more blended. So just gonna do upward strokes in the front. This is only with that one first dip that we did. I did not dip in again. You really just want to use a little bit at a time with the dip brow. And now I'm just going to take the spoolie end of my number 12 brush from Anastasia and I'm just going to blend that. So this gives me the kind of general shape. I have the front filled in very lightly with leftover product so it's not too dark. And then I have my arch kind of mapped out, so the rest of my brow drawing process will be a lot easier because it's all mapped out and ready for me. And now I'm going to dip into the brow pomade again, just a very light dip, and I'm going to draw the top arch of my eyebrow and connect it to the tail, just like that. Dip in a little more to pick up some more product because we want the arch to be the most defined part of our eyebrow. And just taking that excess product and blending it not in the front of the brow, because we already have the lightest amount of product in the front of our brow, but just kind of approaching the front of our brow. We're going to blend that. And of course we're going to run our spoolie through it again just to be sure that everything's nice and blended out. And then dipping in again, I'm going to fill in this area because I have absolutely no brow hairs really here, and the ones that I do have are practically invisible because I am a natural blonde, so my brow hairs like to just be transparent and play me. So I'm just gonna fill in this completely, just little strokes, like so. Picking up a little bit more. Ooh. As you can see, it's really easy to pick up a lot of product by accident, but I'm just going to take that amount that we picked up that was a little too much and just carefully blend it out into the arch and down to the tail. And now that we have the general shape of our eyebrow, I'm just going to brush through it once again just to be sure that all the product is saturated. And now towards the front, which is whatever's left over on my brush, I'm just going to make some hair-like strokes. So now with the spoolie side of the number 12 ABH brush, I'm just going to brush through all of the brow strokes that we've made with the dip brow, just to be sure, once again, that everything is seamless and blended. So cleaning up the brow with concealer is kind of like an extra step that you don't have to do, but I just find that it makes my brow look a lot more neat. So what I'm going to do is take that same BH Cosmetics brush that I talked about in my last video. I'll have it linked down below. It's not available anymore, but I will link a similar one down below for you if you are interested in it. But any little tiny flat shader brush would probably work. And I'm going to dip into my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer as always. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit on that brush. And I'm just going to trace out the bottom of my brow. We're putting a majority of the product at the arch of the eyebrow because we really want that to be neat. And then again, like how we did with the dip brow, we started dark here and got lighter towards the front. We're going to do the same with the concealer. And then I'm just going to take what's left on my brush and bring that to the front of my brow. And then with that flat shader brush, I'm just going to blend that down and blend out that line. And now whatever's left on this little flat shader brush, I'm just going to kind of carve out the tail. I just like to do this to make it look a little bit more intense. So now to set the brow hairs in place, my old favorite was the Glossier Clear Boy Brow. This is probably one of the most amazing brow gels that I've used. It's clear, but it still really sticks up your brow hairs and it makes them look really fluffy and nice, which we all aspire to have. But since I've run out of that, I am using the Benefit Gimme Brow, and mine is in the shade number 3. And I'm going to start with this in the arch to get most of the product off the brush here. And just flatten down these hairs into place. And then slowly we're going to work our way towards the front with whatever's left. Just to kind of stick up those brow hairs and set them so our brow looks nice and fluffy. And there you have it, the finished brow. So as you can see, my two brows are pretty different looking now. As you can see, my brow that's now filled in is a lot darker than my other brow, and it's a lot more intense looking, which I like. And if you're not into that look, you know, you can go for the more natural look. But this is the brow that I like to do when I'm doing my makeup looks. This is kind of just the shape and the style that I go for. I'm just going to fill in my other brow so that I don't look like a crazy person, and I will be right back. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope that you learned something. If you did enjoy watching, please be sure to like and subscribe. It means the absolute world to me, and I've been really trying to put up at least 2 videos per week. So if you're someone who's been loving my tutorials, I really appreciate it. And if you want to be notified when my tutorials first go up, please be sure to turn on the bell notification so that you're notified right when I upload. So I think that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!